Okay, morning guys, welcome back to the channel. Next episode of the lift. So, as you saw from the previous video, got the lift put up last weekend with Marco and Sylvia, his partner, and really can't thank them enough because without them I wouldn't have been able to do it so quickly, probably wouldn't have been able to do it at all. Their knowledge of three-phase power, of how this lift works, God knows how they know that, setting the limit switches, understanding why for a minute it didn't work, was just fantastic. And the speed in which we did it, drilling all the holes, gluing the bars in, and just getting it up was phenomenal. They turned up at 11 o'clock, we sort of really got started sort of straight away really, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon it was up. So I spent the rest of the day tinkering around, putting the cowlings on and stuff like that, but I'll show you around again in a minute. But there's a few things I still need to do. Tidy up the cabling, I've got to put the cover plates on the front of the columns, all the posts, and I'll end up painting it at some point, but it's looking pretty tidy. I've got this bottom part done, and that was most important because obviously once it's down you can't get to the bottom of the supports. So that was that. So I haven't tested it yet. I've tested it with my cell phone and my daughter the other day. She wanted to come up and have a look. We know it works, but we haven't tried a car on it yet. So I didn't want to try the Porsche or the Land Rover. This camera is actually sitting on the bonnet of the Land Rover at the moment, hence the height. But I bought the X5 up today. Looking very dirty, so you have to look past the dirt. But that's going to be the test run. I also wanted to wait for Marco again because, as I say, testing a lift for the first time on my own isn't a brilliant idea. You might have seen from the video last week that, or maybe you didn't because it was in slow motion. But what happened was I brought the lift down and I didn't move a trolley which was underneath it, and it sort of clanked a bit as it hit it. Didn't squash it, so obviously it has some kind of a limiter on it, but I'm wondering whether it jumped a thread on that column in there, because when I put the spirit level, I've got a 3.5 metre spirit level behind there, when I put it flat across the arms, it looks like it's raised slightly on this left hand side, so I don't really know how the safety mechanism works. I guess it's designed so if something's underneath it, it just sort of stops going down, but I don't know the ramifications of that. So Marco's going to meet me here today at some point. He said he's here from 8 o'clock, but haven't found him yet. But it's a big place, so he's probably somewhere around. But I'll give him a call in a minute, and what we'll do is we will check that first. I'll try and do a little video of that as well, and then we'll bring the X5 in, and then we'll put that on the lift for the first time, and obviously I'll film all of that as it happens. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so I've just given Marco a call and he's on his way over, so I'm going to move the Land Rover out and not back the X5 in, but I'm going to go in forwards. So here goes. Let's hope this starts. I'm just going to put it there for the minute so we can test the lift and stuff, but bloody Nora, you can't smell that clearly, but that Land Rover stinks to high heaven. The last weekend I did a video on it actually. I was looking for the problem with the ignition system and maybe the exhaust system, and I found that massive gap in where the header meets the downpipe, and there seems to be some issues there. I actually spoke to Dunsfold Land Rovers about it, who are always really helpful, and first thing he asked me, where did you get the exhaust system from? And he said, without even asking, he said, I hope it wasn't Britpart or Paddock Spares. And I was like, oh Christ. It's a full stainless steel exhaust system, cost over £200, I think 250 odd quid. And he said, without even looking at it, that's bound to be your problem. The way they form the cowl part of the beginning of the downpipe is just simply below standard. But I won't knock it until I find out what the problem is. It might be something completely different. I don't know if there's a gasket I can buy for that section. I mean, it's not standard, but maybe that will help me. But I've got to investigate that a little bit more. But that's why the ignition system is off. It stinks to high heaven, and it will never get an MOT. So I've really got to get that sorted out before I put it through the MOT. Okay, finger weg. Die Frage ist natürlich, ob das dann auseinanderzieht durch diese Scheiben und so. Ja? Okay. Weiter? So we've got, how much have we got left? About another, 300mm or so, 300mm over there. Look at that, Jesus. Ich würde mich interessieren, wie viel das wiegt hier, das Auto. Bestimmt 2 Tonnen, oder? Mit Sicherheit. Ja, weiter. Weiter. Ich sag Stopp. Ja, stopp. Wow, bloody Nora. Look at that. Na, ich würde die Lampen dann, left and right, I'll move the lamps. Then I'll get another. If I move the lamps, Jesus, dann kriege ich noch 1,5 Meter hin.
Dann kriegst du noch 1,5 Meter.
Ja, Wahnsinn. And then, if I get another ½ meter on there, mit noch 1,5 Meter, we're sort of sitting up here. That'd be pretty high. Das wird ziemlich hoch sein dann. Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, so you just saw the BMW go up and down, and the lift is, it's really reassuringly stable. I mean, the thing just goes up. I mean, the BMW is 2.1 tons. So 2,000, almost 2,100 kilos. And this carries 2.5. So, and it just lifts it perfectly fine. It's really cool having had the BMW up there, looking underneath and having a look around. Found a problem actually with one of the boots on the drive shafts on the front left corner. That had split and it sprayed all the grease all around the inside of the wheel. So that'll have to be done. I also noticed I replaced these tyres in 2017, and the X5 is quite well known for how much it pitches in at the back. It's not looking quite so bad because it's still on the lift at the moment, but these wheels really pitch in. And I've seen underneath, yeah, just by getting up close to the wheels on the inside edge of those tyres, Jesus, they've really eaten away at the tyres. So, and they're really not that old, which is a bit worrying because the whole set was 600 quid, which is not much fun. But anyway, so what am I going to do now? I think I'll probably just put the lift up again and have a look underneath the BMW. And what I might do is get the Land Rover on there as well. I'll see if I can find the best way of attaching the Land Rover to it, because of the shape of the chassis on the Land Rover, I'm not sure really the best way of making that happen. So I'm going to try that now. But I'm really happy. It's really cool. Can't believe I've got a working lift. It's just a dream come true. So there we are. Points or lifting points for the Land Rover. It's really not easy because the way the chassis goes. So I'm right at the limit really on here. I don't know if you can see that. And just sort of on that side, I'm right between the leaf spring and the exhaust pipe. So I've got good connection there with the chassis. And I'm just going to go up now for the first time, just take it nice and easy. Just make sure it doesn't slip. Looks pretty good. It's off the ground already, actually. Just have a look under there. It looks pretty solid. That's not touching on anything over there. Let's have a look. One flaps out the way. And it seems, yeah, you can't really see anything, but that's looking pretty good. Let me check the other side. I mean, we're off the ground. Landy is off the ground. All four wheels. For the first time. I've never had it on a lift. And what about over here? That is fine. And just get under here. That looks pretty good as well. It's pretty close to the handbrake mechanism, but nonetheless it's still on a flat bit of chassis. So I'm going to go up. Whew, dear. Okay, let's go up. Gotta be careful at the top. I mean, these will never slip because I think I showed you on the video where I put it together. They're locked in place now, and that really is on there. I think that's good, you know. If we go back here and look, I mean, all the weight's at the front anyway, so I think we're looking good. Let's go up even further. Let's have a look at that light. I've got to move these lights, obviously. I mean, moving those lights gives me another ½ metre I mentioned before. A bit more on here. Ooh, I'm going to dent that new roof. I can still go up even a little bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put, once I've moved those lights, I'm going to put pieces of tape here to say maximum height for the Porsche, maximum height for the BMW, maximum height for the Land Rover. Obviously those will be all swept around because I'll be able to get to the Porsche will be able to go all the way up to the top, no problem. BMW, not quite, but this definitely not. So I think that's it. Do a little bit more. Stop. Interesting what you see when you look at the car from a different angle. Oil is coming out of there, or grease. I use standard grease on packing these bearings, and I should have used something like Timken bearing grease, and I'll probably have to go back and do all that again, which is fine, using the right stuff, but it's what I had at the time and I didn't realise it wasn't the right thing to use, but it just sort of goes really runny and just goes past those gaskets regardless of whatever I do, so I'll end up having to change them. But anyway, look, that is the Land Rover up on its lift for the first time ever. It's so cool. I mean, it's unbelievable how much easier it makes working on a car. I just had the BMW on there and I was just sort of cleaning the wheels and the bumper at sort of at elbow height or shoulder height, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable, even if you're just cleaning the car, let alone doing any work on it. But you can see, it's so cool. Let me just make sure I'm not messing anything up there. It all looks pretty good. But look at that, look at that. Let me just get down on the floor, on the concrete floor. Look at that, you can just see for the first time really, unless you've followed the build right from the beginning, how new everything is under there. I mean, it's just all spotless. You don't really see that from the top or the outside because I've left all the panels pretty much original, but you can just see there's my bolt-up cross member there, which, because it was like third or fourth one I got, I didn't bother painting in the end, but you don't see it anyway, so it's no big deal. But you just see what's going on. Makes it so much easier. So cool. Okay, so that is the Land Rover as high as it actually goes on that lift. The limit switch is set to that point there, which happily coincides perfectly with the ceiling. So, I don't know, lift this up on the tripod. Maybe you can see that. There you go. Up there, very close. But that is how it is. It's on the top end of the, top end of the lift. It doesn't actually go anymore, it stops there. I'm sure you could set the limit switch so it could go higher, but happy days, no need. So what I've just been doing is just having the car at this height already just allows you to do things like check the tyres for stones or check if the brakes are binding really easily. So just, it's pretty good. Looking at that, that's pretty good. They're touching, definitely. I've still got to actually take the drums off and shave down, sand down like the front or the leading edges of the brake shoes. That's a tip that one of my subscribers, one of you guys told me to do, which I'm sure will help the brakes work better. But I've just noticed, just going under here, I now trust my lift. That seems to be, there's a bit of a drip of oil there, interestingly. I wonder where that's come from. Oh, I wonder if that's brake fluid or not. Let's have a look. No, that looks like oil to me. So there's an oil leak in that. Oh, no, it's very clear. Well, obviously clean oil. I think that's oil. So there's a bit of an oil leak in there. But anyway, you can hear they're binding a little bit, so what I thought I'd do is I'd just use the opportunity to set that there, bump, and just set the brake shoes. Let me see if I've got the right. That one does it. Yeah. There we go. That works. That's binding, and then just nicking it off a little bit. I think that is now a lot better. Alright. Move it that way. Now I can't find it. Seems to be, let me just put it back one. There we go. How about this? Oh, they seem alright. That's fine. Good. Little job jobbed. But yeah, so now that's got so much higher, I can actually walk around underneath this thing and just, you know, have a look what's going on. It's incredibly cool. So for example, I need to, let's just check the tension of that belt there. Oh, a bit loose. So what I need to do is I need to sort out my exhaust issue. So the exhaust is up in there. So I'm going to have to take that off and see about the connecting point on that. But otherwise all these parts are all solid. But yeah, that just gives you an idea of how much easier this makes everything. Just being able to get up underneath and look around. It's incredibly cool. So here's another job I've just seen. I've got these brake lines on with cable ties. I've actually got to drill into the chassis, which is a bit worrying. But just pull that away from there, probably centralise that and put maybe one there and one there. I've got the little clips, but otherwise it's all looking pretty clean under here still. Oil drip there, oil running down here. I think that is coming from the oil filter actually. But how's the radiator looking? You can't really see anything on this, it's a bit dark. I need to get a light under here. I noticed here on these new ball joints, I think that's a brick part, they're already starting to rust here. So don't buy them, just don't do it, you know. This one over here is sort of okay, that's just dirt on there, but the other side is starting to go already, so that's, yeah, it's, I don't know, a couple of years old, but never been used outside in the rain or anything. So it's tricky finding the right parts, but it's worth spending the extra money. I mean, I've done a mix of original parts, old parts, used parts, but also some brick part and paddock spare parts on here, BMAC. And wherever you can get original, wherever you can reuse what you've taken off the car, definitely go for it, because so far with most of the new parts that I've bought, I've been pretty disappointed. And that's probably, I don't know, just me not finding the right suppliers. It's quite difficult to find good suppliers of decent parts. But yeah, just be warned, interesting, rust. Not very bad, but it is there at least. Maybe it'll clean off. But anyway, looking good, looking pretty cool. Just looking under here. What's this? This is the floor pan. I might undercoat all these at some point, but there we are.